Nintendo does not deserve your money. Truth of the matter, they haven't for a while, but clouded by nostalgia and thinking there's always a worse studio out there, we've endured countless bad decisions and anti-consumer practices for this past game generation. Nintendo is not your friend. In fact, Nintendo hates their fans. That's why they release exorbitantly priced remakes, sometimes even being worse than the original, or shut down online storefronts, making legal means of obtaining retro games near impossible, just adding to the 87% of retro games that are now lost media. That's why they go after emulators, even the ones that just want to preserve their games and ask for no monetary compensation, while they themselves get a free pass. That's why they conduct legal warfare to strong-arm competition out. And that's why they shut down fan games when they get just a little too popular. I don't want Nintendo to fail. I have a soft spot for them. Much of my formative gaming years was spent on my Game Boy SP, playing Leaf Green and pretty much every mainline Pokemon. But it feels like they've hit a similar situation to Sony and the PS5 Pro, where they know they can get away with a lot. Because what other choice does a Nintendo fan have? What platform will they shift to? There is only one family of consoles that has Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, Kirby, and the whole line of Nintendo IPs without going into some dubious waters. Consoles rely on games to sell them, since they'll never be a permanent replacement to PCs, hence why first-party exclusives are so important to Nintendo. Without them, Nintendo's hardware is lackluster. There's no reason to buy it, but with their marketable IPs, they can float through not one, but almost 2 console generations without putting the extra work of updating their hardware or releasing a new system. But one of the most important aspects of consoles is they act as loss leaders for console makers. They may take a hit on their bottom line while making the console, but once it releases and people buy it, they can recoup it by selling games at an industry standard price. Which brings me to one of the many things that worries me about this console generation and gaming going forward. As pointed out by Gerd Glintstone, an Aussie who shares the broad opinion of Nintendo dropping the ball with the Switch 2, they are moving forward with standardizing games at $70. I understand this is the industry standard now, but that's not all. Mario Kart World, the Switch 2's big, shiny new Mario Kart, will cost $80. $80. I hope you could see my issue with that. We aren't even a console generation forward, and Nintendo is already moving the goalpost to how expensive games should be. And, depending on how successful, and let's face it, it will be successful, the Switch 2 and its subsequent games are, this signals to every AAA developer that charging $80 is a reasonable amount, despite the devs that clamor to the new price point, proving time and time again that they can only act as a broken clock, producing an actually good, complete, non-buggy game twice a generation. Yeah, they have budget projects like Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which acts as a tech demo of the Switch 2, but it's not even bundled into the console. It's a paid product that will cost you $10. Arguably, the tech demo is the most important aspect of hooking a potential fan. I think the PS5, for all its flaws, did this wonderfully. Astro's Playroom showcased all the awesome features that comes with a PS5, and it was bundled into every console free of charge. Nintendo doesn't do that. You don't get a comp game to waste time in while you wait for the game that you're actually excited for. If you aren't hyped for Mario Kart World, tough luck. Guess you gotta pay 70 bones for a game. Well, what if you buy a physical copy? At least you have it forever, right? Well, that's where another Switch 2 feature comes in. The whole point of buying a physical game is to save storage on your system, but Nintendo says, what if no? So here's the rundown. Some games will have physical releases with a banner warning players that it's a game key card, meaning the game cartridge acts more like an automatically redeeming digital code. it downloads to the system, and you still need the cartridge in the console as you play. It's kind of the natural evolution of the full game download banner on Switch games, where Nintendo or a different company still wants retail space in the Nintendo section, but doesn't want to actually include a physical cart. So it's a download code. This is a step in the right direction, kind of, but not really, because you get something. But the problem is, it's basically just a worse way of buying digital. You are tethered to the cart in your system. You don't save storage on your console, and you will likely pay more for a physical copy. Finally, there's Game Chat, a feature that has its own dedicated button on the Joy-Con, but there's a catch. You need to give them money. That's right, a button on the controller itself is locked behind a paywall to their Switch Online service. Yeah, it's not too expensive, and it's standard practice in the console market to require a subscription for online features, but here's the thing. Unlike the likes of PlayStation Plus or Game Pass, Switch Online is just bad. Its multiplayer is the worst among consoles, its special offers are weak, and the classic games you get as part of your subscription are lackluster. Now, I don't want Nintendo to go out of business, not that that's even possible anymore, but I want them to go on a PS3 level campaign, trying to save face rather than f this up to the point they are the new Xbox, a console maker that still feels the sting of their botched, anti-consumer Xbox One reveal to this day. So if you are considering buying a Switch 2, consider if you really think Nintendo deserves your money.